graduates can come up front. And special guest, Joao. Oh, this other stuff. You guys can sit over here. Look at all this stuff. I'm so rich with stuff. Ugh. Nice. Okay. Just so people can kind of get to know you guys. Name, I have it down. Name, where you're going after college, and your favorite thing to do in your free time. That's what you're doing. Okay? Name, where you're going after high school, favorite thing to do in your free time.
I'm Maya Hokel. I'm going to SDSU for college for psychology, and my favorite thing to do in my free time is ride dirt bike.
I'm Chandler Vogel. I'm going to Fergus, and I'm going to be going in to be a FIA teacher. And my favorite thing to do is just play sports. I'm Judah Malik. I'm going to Concordia to do nursing and pre-med. And my favorite thing to do in my free time is play board games with my family.
My name is Baine, and I'll be going to college to SDSU to become a physical therapist. And my favorite thing to do is like to be outside with my friends and everything.
I'm Joao, and I'm an exchange student.
From Brazil. That's some advice for you guys. Give you guys your stuff, so you have to wait on the talking. So you guys don't get too eager. My advice is this. The thing I wish somebody told me when I was going off to college was, everything's going to change. And by that, I mean that the place you always go when you're really stressed isn't there anymore. The food you always like, the place you always go to get food isn't there anymore. The people you confide in are next to you all the time. And you're going to find new things to fill those. New places, new people, and you're going to have to find a new place to be alone and find yourself. And I wish somebody would have told me that, because I remember the first couple of weeks and I was just like, man, I don't have my space. I have a roommate, and I can't just go and sit down and figure out my life. I don't have the place I always want to get food. I don't have that, like your pattern just gets messed up. And be okay with it. And find good people to fill your life with, because good people will help you. Something I noticed is how much my family, who's here today because they're awesome, how much my family cared for me, and how much time they took out of their day to ask me how I was doing and to catch up with me and to focus on me. And now that I have left, starting to realize that people don't care that much. Your family is awesome. People don't ask you how you're doing all the time. They really don't. And so you're going to have to learn to go and find who you want and seek out people that you want in your life. And it takes some effort, but sometimes some people are really worth it. You'll find some friends that are going to be with you for the rest of your life. So that is my advice to you. Judah, if you want to come up here and find one of these books, it's yours. You're first. That's not you. I think you're the third one. And one of these is an XL. You gotta find it. On the plus side, buddy, man. We'll have the right size. Eventually. Yeah, I'm gonna talk. You're lucky. Okay, so I just want to give you a gift and say, I'm so proud of you, dude. I remember the first time when you walked in here for Paul Rapid service. It was the first time I met you. And you were just a kid hungry for God. Brought your girlfriend who didn't believe in Christ, who you since, separated from. But that was the moment that I first met you and got to see what you were really about. And you continue to impress. every single week at youth group. I don't have to worry about what Judah's thinking, what Judah's doing. Judah's focused on God. Judah's praying. Judah's the first one worshiping. Judah doesn't care about other people's opinion of him. He does what God wants him to do. And I really respect that. Thank you. Maya, one of these mediums. I don't know what they are. Hey, I'm getting lucky. Let's go. There you go. I remember when I first met you, your sister came to youth group because of Nathan, because he invites everyone. Good job, Nathan. But then a few weeks later, I got to meet you, and I got to meet Cody, and just like not really knowing, I knew that you guys moved in there, but not really knowing you guys very well. Then we had like a big party night, and you came, and you were like, I want to share a testimony. Can I share a testimony? I was like, yeah, okay, like let me know what it is, because I didn't know you super well then. I got a huge like story. I was like, this is, and it was really good because I make everyone tell me their testimony before I let them have a mic because you don't want me crazy on the mic. And so she came up here and she shared her testimony, and I was just so impressed at the gem I got handed because of a work placement. I was just like, you know, this is. When I get a senior, like their last year of high school, they're usually really, you know, I don't know, they don't show up too often, they're really busy because they got college and they got a job, all these things. And then you have Maya, who has made God a priority and who has led so faithfully and humbly, and you're awesome. I can't say it any better than that. Thank you for all that you do, and that you've led all the middle school girls, and you've taken time out of your day to just pour into people. Thank you. You're up. Baine. All right. Oh, I'm so good. I need a prize. Baine, I met you in wrestling practice, actually, before you ever came to youth group. I went into the wrestling room and, you know, just got to know you over time and saw how much of a stand-up guy you were, regardless of your spiritual nature, your morals were good. You were always respectful, and you were always kind, and you always found time to listen to people. And I just want you to know that, you know, we stand behind you. And we're with you wherever you go and whatever you need. I don't know, man. You're like the son to me, dude. You're like the first. It's funny because you're like a bro because you were in wrestling together, but we're also like, you know. I just really appreciate you, and I can't say enough about how great you are and who you're going to be, who God's called you to be, and where you're going. So I'm super excited for you. I'm going to miss you, man. Chandler, if you want to hop up here, Doug. Okay, here's a fun fact. I'm going to give you this medium, and you can reimburse me for a large, because Joao is leaving the country and he's going to get the large. You can have the large. I will give you a large, but you can hold on to this medium, because it's worth $45, so you can trade it in anytime. I ordered the wrong size, and that's my fault, and I apologize. But we'll get one to you pretty soon, okay? I promise. Chandler, I met you at Byer's cabin. Coincidence. Byer invited people to church. But I met you, and we just hung out for the day, and we went tubing, and we went jet skiing, and we played football, and I can just hear Byer in the background saying, Chandler, you need to come to church. Chandler, you need to come to youth group. Chandler. And you're just like, yeah, whatever. Just like trying to find any excuse not to come. But over the past maybe, year, 9 months, you have become a vital part of this youth group. And You are the one that is focused. You're the one that's paying attention. You're the one that's, keeping the discussion moving in a positive direction. We have small groups. You're the one that, is interested in what we're doing, and not just the games and not just all the extra stuff. You're the one that's here for God. And I can't say how much I respect that. And I love you, man. And super excited for the summer, because it's gone, dude. I'm not going to see you for a while. But know that you always have a place here. Here you go, man. We'll have something for you on Wednesday, too. Maybe I'll buy a cake or something. For people who don't know, Joao is leaving next Friday. And so he's not senior, but I think he still deserves it enough. And he's a very just vital part of what we do here at Hosanna. I've only known you for a year, man, but it feels like time has flown. I was moving chairs one day, and I was like, oh man, I only have 2 weeks left of seeing Joao. I got really sad. I'm gonna cry. Give me a Kleenex.
You make me cry.
Oh, okay. Gotta get through this. Stop serving the preacher. But having you around has been awesome. And everyone else I'm going to see, I can see you in the summer. You're going to be around. I'm not going to see you, but message me on Facebook. I'll tag you in some fishing pictures. I really love you. Okay. You guys can grab a seat. This is your 2018 graduates. Thanks for making me cry. Don't forget to pray. I'll pray right now. God, I just thank you so much for them. God, the youth you're raising up to change the world and change the generations. And it starts here. It starts in a place like this. It starts with our kids. And I pray wherever they go, they know you're with them, and they always remember they have a home here at Hosanna. Amen. Amen. We're going to play games so it can distract me a little bit. Baine, I got some pictures for you. I forgot to give them to you. These are the pictures Mom gave me. I don't want you to miss out because Mom's going to be mad at me. Like, hey, I need that pictures back, boy. Okay, so we got a quick game because it wasn't youth service. We didn't have a game. It's not really youth service, but I'm running it, so it is youth service. I need some volunteers to play this game with me. A few volunteers. Brady, you're in. Okay, somebody else. We can have an adult too. Come on. Nobody wants to play a game? It's not even a hard game. Stalls, there we go. And little stalls. I'll let you both play just because you both raised your hands. Okay, so we're going to play a game. And it's going to be quick draw. There's a prize, so everyone who did raise their hand, they miss out. Just thanks to them. Okay, the game is graduation trivia. Okay? So I asked, it is what it is. I asked all the students to send in some facts about themselves, and I'm going to put up a fact. You raise your hand. First person to guess correctly. You get one guess, so if none of you get it right, okay? None of you guys get it right, then, nobody gets a point. But I'll give you a point, and you can just keep score. Hey, don't put that up yet. We're not ready yet. Okay? First person to raise their hand gets to answer. You get one guess. Somebody else want to hop here? So we have four. This is four. Russell, hop up here, dude.
I got this.
Well, hey, then you got to raise your hand first because you cheated. Okay, so first fact on the scoreboard. Go to the first slide. Here we go. I'm performing in the Legally Blonde musical this week. Ooh, I didn't see. Okay, Russell has it.
Judah Malik.
Judah Malik is correct. Okay, so that's 1 point, Russell. Who wants to be my official scorekeeper? Rusty, you want to be my scorekeeper?
You got it?
Thank you. That's teamwork right there. Also known as delegation.
Russell wins.
Russell wins. Okay, here we go. Number 2. I have 4 siblings. Russ.
My vocal.
No. You have to pick their fact. It may be true about them, but it's not their fact. Somebody else picked that fact, and so it's not their. You don't get a guess again. Let's take
Judah Mellon.
It's not his fact either. Baine. It is Baine. 1 point Baine. Let's go. Let's have fun. Okay. Next slide. I can slalom ski. Chandler. It is Chandler. Brady, your early lead. I like this. Can we get some music? This is just more entertaining with some music on it. We'll get some. Turn on something good. Okay. We got something going there? Yeah. We're good. We're gonna do it. Yes. I can say I love you in 5 different languages. You raise your hand, that's your fault. It is Maya. Wow. What a play! What a play! Playing the old guess game. Multiple choice. Did it. I like to be outside. Brady's first. It is Baine! Wow, Baine's on the ball! This is 25% game. He's killing it. Okay. Next one.
Come on, Stalls.
I like building with Legos and have a room full of them. It is Judah Malik. Okay, here we go. Next one. I won a talent show when I was 4.
I'm gonna go with Maya.
It is Maya. There we go, on the scoreboard. Stalls is making a comeback. Bang. I can put my earlobe in my ear. Nope. It is Chandler. There we go. Other Stalls on the board. Wait. I couldn't think of a third fact.
Chandler.
That is absolutely Chandler. There we go. Woo! I like rap music. Nope. It is Baine. Okay, here we go. There's only 2 left. I know how to read and develop computer programming codes.
Maya.
It is Maya. Okay, before we go to the last one, we have a scoreboard.
5 Brady, 3 Russell.
And Solomon each have 1, 2.
This one like multiple points. This one.
We'll give you a no. This is fair. Brady won the whole thing. I can't just change it now. Okay, there we go. I went on my first mission trip when I was 8 years old. It is Judah. Sadly, the short effort at the end caused Solomon points for 4, and we still don't win. Thank you for playing. So I thought we'd treat you to some college. Graduate thing. There's some college for you. Thank you for participating. I hope you have fun in that round.
You don't like round? No.
Okay, we're good on music. Thank you. Okay. So, in the spirit of graduation, I believe God put a message on my heart for today, and specifically for the graduates, but it applies to everyone, because that's kind of how sermons are. Graduates, right now you guys have accomplished something, and it's a milestone in your life. Congratulations. I'm looking forward to all that God has for you and what's in His plan. However, you're about to walk into life, and you're going to understand what that means in not too long. And I want to tell you what's around the corner. It's transition. Transition is something that's happening to you currently or will happen to you eventually. Most likely in the near future. If I've learned anything in my 23 years on this earth, is that something is always changing. And you have to learn to adapt. You have to learn to overcome whatever comes your way. And I need something to drink because my mouth is dry. Adapt and overcome. Change is something that we're all kind of afraid of. And we don't really know what to do with it because it's something completely different. Because at least we know where we are. The unknown is something completely different, and to be honest, sometimes it terrifies us. But embracing a dream and whatever is ahead gets you to take the first step. It helps you start moving in the right direction. If you ask somebody to describe life in general, they usually answer something like, life's been a roller coaster. It's been up and it's been down. All of us are at a time of transition. If you guys could turn to 1 Samuel 22:1, that would be awesome. I'm going to give you a little background because we're only reading one chapter. Not even the whole chapter, we're actually only reading the first half of it. I'm going to give you a little background. Right now, we're in the time of Saul's kingship. And so Saul is king over Israel, and David conquered Goliath, and your notoriety, he married one of Saul's daughters. However, after all David's success, Saul is jealous of David and is trying to kill David. In-laws are the worst, right? Actually, what's the difference between outlaw and an in-law? At least outlaws are wanted. Who am I kidding? I don't have in-laws. I don't have a girlfriend. I don't even talk to girls on this plane. We actually should get back to talking about God. So David is fleeing from his father-in-law, Saul, and Saul's chasing him through the lands in an attempt to kill him. Real nice family. In chapter 21, David flees to Gath, which is where an opposing king that would most likely kill David on sight lives. And so David acts insane and escapes. Then comes 1 Samuel 22. And this is what it says. 1 Samuel 22, 1a says, David left Gath and escaped to the cave Adullam. David is at a point of transition. David is one of the most highly respected of the king's men. David was the hero of Israel. David, the mighty warrior, is now cowering in a cave. I imagine he's having a mental breakdown from just the constant stress of having someone try to kill him. Knowing somebody that's coming after you and pursuing you to the ends of their kingdom and even farther so that you could die. It's a pretty tough transition. David was probably alone and crying and hungry and exhausted and on the verge of a mental breakdown. And I was thinking, man, that sounds like college. And he's in this dark cave just trying to survive. At this time in David's life, this is probably his lowest moment. He has no one to turn to, and in the darkness of this cave, in this time of transition, something catches David's attention. 1 Samuel 17, 48 through 52. We're going to look back on David's greatest victory. In verse 48 it says this. As the Philistine moved closer to attack him, talking with Goliath, David ran quickly toward the battle line to meet him, reaching into his bag and taking out a stone, and he slung it and struck the Philistine on the forehead. The stone sank into his forehead, and he fell face down on the ground. So David triumphed over the Philistine with a sling and a stone. Without a sword in his hand, he struck down the Philistine and killed him. David ran and stood over him and killed him. After he killed him, he cut off his head with the sword. Then the Philistines saw that their hero was dead, and they turned and ran. Then the men of Israel and Judah surged forward with a shout and pursued the Philistines to the entrance of Gath and to the gates of Ekron. David's biggest victory, the reason he's famous throughout the land, and his triumph over Goliath and the Philistines, Pretty great. Pretty great. I have a few pictures. You want to throw the first one up? Some of you may not know this, but I actually went to Israel. And while I was in Israel, we visited the site of David's battle with Goliath. That's it. It's called Elah Valley. This picture is actually pretty neat. It shows you a lot of stuff. I always thought Israel was kind of all sand, and that's not even close. It's like a really, really lush, full land with like a lot of life and a lot of forest and not just sand. No matter how great that picture is, it doesn't really say anything. So you're just looking at it going, oh cool, it's just a bunch of stuff. I have a picture that's a little bit more, shows the armies you can. You want to give me that one? That's kind of the layout. Okay, Saul's over there, Philistines are over there. Valley, Elah, Valley, there it is. And it's really cool to actually get a visual of the story you've heard your entire life. It's pretty sweet. Side note about Elah Valley, this like super famous historical site. You want to know what they like have there, like as a marker? Nothing. They built a highway on it. But that's beside the point. Now I want to read through 52 again, verse 52. It says, Then the men of Israel and Judah surged forward with a shout and pursued the Philistines to the entrance of Gad and to the gates of Ekron. The Philistines were chased all the way to Gath. I think we heard that somewhere before. I have one more picture. This picture is showing you where Gath is in relation to everything else. Hey, Gath in relation to everything else. Wow. Hey. If I do enough time, it shows up. That's a picture. Right there in the back, you can see Gath, and right there you can see Elah Valley. Here's where it gets really interesting. The cave of Adullam is within 100 yards. You see where the Philistine came? Go back to that picture. You see that hill is right there, where it says Philistine camp? Right on that little tiny hill next to it, there's a cave. It's called the cave of Adullam. And it's within 100 yards of the place, the battle between David and Goliath. In David's lowest point, sitting in the cave, he could look out and see the battlefield of his greatest victory. I just think this was God's way of reminding David, I got you through that, and I can get you through this. See, I'm not going to lie to you, I'm not going to make you feel like life is going to be perfect, because life will have its ups and downs. Life is a journey. And it's a path with many hills and valleys, mountaintops and canyons. Don't be discouraged by your place right now. We're all wishing to be on a mountaintop, but our journey doesn't end at the top of the mountain. David conquered Goliath, but he still had so much more in front of him. I think we all dream of getting to the mountaintop and everything being perfect. It's not true. That's not what happens. David went up and up and up and up. And then all of a sudden, he came flying back down. See, in life, we can be at a mountaintop, or we can be in a valley. And that valley is always looked on as like, I'm having a really bad time right now, and I can't accomplish anything. And your lowest point, just like David in the cave. But here's what I learned about valleys. I went to Israel and we learned a lot. Valleys are the most dangerous part of the land. Absolutely the most dangerous part. You don't go there as often as you ever else because all the stuff is there. All the animals, all the other people trying to attack you. You're very vulnerable when you're low on the land. If you have high up, you have good ground. The valleys, you're vulnerable. But there's something that's also true about valleys. Valleys are the place where water and food and animals accumulate. You need the valleys because the valleys will give you what you need to get up the next mountain. At the lowest points of your life, God has not forgotten about you, but is growing you for something greater. Romans 5:3-5 says this. Not only so, but we also glory in our sufferings, because we know that suffering produces perseverance, perseverance, character, and character, hope. And hope does not put us to shame, but God's love has been poured out into our hearts through the Holy Spirit who has been given to us. In our life, it's so easy to praise God on the mountaintop. It's so easy to praise God when everything is good because we feel like it. And we always ask the question, God, why can't I stay on the mountaintop? Why can't it always be good? But if we ever want to get to a new mountaintop, if we want to ever reach higher heights, we're going to have to go back into the valley. We're going to have to go, because if we never learn how to suffer, we'll never learn perseverance. And if we never learn perseverance, we'll never grow character. We'll never develop as a person if nothing bad ever happens to us. That's what it says. In this season, God's using it, your lowest point, to grow you to go up to the new highest height. If you hear nothing else, hear this. God sees you. He has a plan for you. Just like David, look back and see the victories. Look out of the cave and see where you slayed Goliath. See your biggest victory. And God helped you overcome that. He can help you overcome this. When you're in transition and you're in the valley, learn to praise God, because what's happening in the suffering is He's growing you for something greater. When David finally emerged from his valley season, he was anointed the king of Israel. He went from being a shepherd to a warrior to sitting in a cave to being the king. It took time. It took trials. It took suffering. It took a low point to get to something greater. Transition's scary, but that's why there's a little more to 1 Samuel 22. 1 Samuel 22, 1 through 2 says this. David left Gad and escaped to the cave Adullam. When his brothers and his father's household heard about it, they went down to him there. All those who were in distress or in debt or discontented gathered around him, and he became their commander. About 400 men were with him. David had people come and help him. In his lowest point, David was not afraid to have people in his life. He was not afraid to have people see weakness. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't be embarrassed, because we all have low points and we've all been there. Sometimes we need somebody to listen, and sometimes we need somebody to encourage us, and sometimes we need advice. That's why God created us to be social beings. We need people. Even the most antisocial person I've ever met still wants to be around people who are encouraging and loving. If David can get help, so can you. If Jesus needed help carrying the cross, it's okay for us to get some help. Can I get an amen?
Amen.
In your lowest point, make sure not to hide in the cave, because you can hide in fear forever, or you can emerge the king of Israel. Transition can be scary, and change can be difficult. But you just need to surround yourself with good people and grow as much as you can in the lowest points of life. And lean on God and have faith that He'll carry you through, and you need to keep moving forward. It's so easy to get caught up in the cave because you feel safe. But you need to keep moving forward. God will use the past to remind you of His faithfulness, and He'll use the present, and He'll be there to comfort you, and He'll be there to prepare you for what's next, because we can't stay in the cave forever. If I could get some altar music going, that'd be great. If I could have everyone heads bowed, eyes closed. in the transition, dream big. Don't forget that God's with you. God is bigger than whatever is happening to you right now. And whatever is happening to you right now is for your benefit. It is so you may grow. It is so you may be greater. It is for His plan for your life, that you may succeed and you may live a fulfilling life. The lowest valleys come before the highest climbs. Do not waste the transition complaining, but use the transition to prepare. Find what you need so you can get higher than before. If you're in here and you've never made a commitment to Christ and you want to today, you want somebody who's willing to get your back and have you is by your side, loves you unconditionally, that's my God. And He can be your God too. If that's you and you want to reconcile your situation and you walked away from God and you want to come back, on the count of 3, could you raise your hand? I'd love to pray with you. I ask that everyone's eyes closed and heads are bowed. 1, 2, 3. That's you. Yes. 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 Anyone else? Anyone else? Yes. If everyone wants to pray after me. God, today, I have fallen short. I have sinned, but I want to be forgiven. I want to be made new. I want a new life, and I want a relationship with you. I pray you come into my life. God, and you know me, and you love me, and you're there for me, and you'll always see me through. Amen. We're going to do one more. If you're in here, I'm going to have the altar team come up if they want. If you're in here and you're in a valley and you need some prayer, this house is a house of prayer and will be a house of prayer. I'm going to have the altar workers come up. If you need prayer, please find us. Please come up and grab one of us. Talk to us. We want to help any way we possibly can. If that's you, you just need prayer today. This place is home to you.